Welcome to Backyard Wellness, a show that tries to help you see healthy options within the community, the region, and even your own backyard. Well, we're in the backyard of the Arcadia High School right here for a community garden. And I'm here with Jacob Kluza, who's a horticulturist through the UW-Extension for the county of Trempealeau and Jackson County.
Yep.
And he's the man in charge of this community garden. You're the manager, right?
Yep. So we administer the community garden here. And so, yep, like I said, my name is Jacob Kluza. I work for Extension in a few different roles. Yep, I'm the county horticulture agent for Jackson and Trempealeau. So I do a lot of plant education throughout the community, mainly focusing on youth education, since that seems to be the big important push here. So we're doing a lot of different things. And so we administer the community garden. And so that's part of our, initiative to the Wisconsin Idea.
So this is one community garden. Do you have another community garden that you're working with?
Well, we were looking to get another one started. And so I actually went to the Arcadia City Council and we got approved to start a second one over at the Violets Hansen Park. But we've hit a few snags and we're still working through it. But this is our first one. We're looking to expand and start a second one there.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. But this garden has been here for how many years?
So I would say that this garden has been here for about 20 years, 15, 20 years. So it got started like right around 2006. So, and it was a partnership between the Arcadia School District and University of Wisconsin Extension and the Foodwise program.
What keeps it going?
Well, the gardeners keep it going. There's lots of... what's the word? We always have limited space. There's always people wanting to get into the garden. We really wanted to make sure there was a large space to use the garden. And so what really keeps it going is like we have a constant, steady user base that really makes use of this space and has done a wonderful job. And then like the programmatic wise is it provides such a benefit to the city of Arcadia through our partnerships, hits multiple goals for food wise, providing low cost options to residents. It hits my options for providing equity in gardening, and it hits a health and well-being aspect for providing, a place for people to grow, a third space for people to really interact with nature, and then another space like to provide, to alleviate food deserts, because food deserts around here is a big issue. Where can you get fresh produce for cheap? Not in the grocery store or in your backyard.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because I looked at the distance for my food in my town. I'm in Trempealeau. Well, it's 11 miles or 13 miles to the grocery store, which essentially is food desert in Trempealeau. And so that's one of the benefits of having a community garden. And there you are. You're helping to serve Arcadia by having the garden.
Yes. And so we have a few different programs. So this year we're looking to do an at-will garden, and then we're working with the Ruth organization to provide food for the community pantry and some churches. So again, giving back to the community through this space, and then providing, a really nice service to the local community, because, we provide water, we till this up, there's lots of a protected space that they can do this. And so there's not really anything comparable around. And if you were to try and rent farmland, it would be, it would be cost prohibitive. And, and then you still have to worry about water and...
This group is the Ruth.
Yep, so this is...
Group.
Yep, so...
It's RUTH for what?
So it stands through Rural Unity Through Hope. It's a non-denominational faith group, so they have quite a few churches, but you don't have to be very religious to join Ruth. And they just do community projects that help overall. They were doing cancer sweatshirts, and so they just do community programs that benefit Trempealeau County. And so one of it was this program where they're planting a community garden through a grant. We're one of their community partners, and so we're planting the garden, and then they'll provide food for the food pantry, both here at the high school and through the Bella Davida Church.
Oh, so some of it does go to the school.
Yep. So
I didn't see that this is food to table.
Yep. So the Arcadia started a new pantry. I think it was a year, 2 years ago, where it's inside for students to take with them on weekends or at the end of the day. So it's an at-will pantry, and so you can donate some stuff to them. But we were looking to donate more this year.
Is that what that greenhouse is over there?
No, the greenhouse is for the greenhouse education. So they do teach like an agriculture class here. I think it would be, I'm not sure which one it is, but they do have quite an active plant. And so we do collaborate with them. We do store a few of our stuff over there with them, but that's mainly used for learning.
Oh, okay.
And so, but if they learn it there, then they're able to come here and use it.
All right. Wow. So it all's coordinated.
Yep.
And I didn't know what all those little carts are for.
Yep, so those are called IBC tanks, and they're basically giant plastic water tanks. And so, one thing we're looking at is sustainability of this garden. We want to really reduce our carbon input and our overall financial input in the garden. And so having these rain barrels, they're going to have, hopefully, they're on back order, but we're looking to get little inverted umbrellas that go over all of these, and they'll collect and harvest rainwater and fill by themselves.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
In addition, we'll just fill them up and just make sure that we're using water more efficiently and that everybody has more equal access. So like one of my biggest pushes is equity through gardening. And that means, equity of watering, food, all of these things, making sure that everybody has the best chance to grow the best food. And so providing that here.
You're kind of fighting against the elements, though. I mean, you've got very sandy soil. I guess that's one of your hazards or obstacles for this whole garden.
Yep. So we have been fighting it, and we've been growing here for quite a while too. So we have been, depleting it, but we do give back. Last year we fertilized quite a bit with it. One of the things we were looking at this year with the Ruth Group, part of their grant was to look to bring in more compost through Cosmo and Wamandee. But just with our time crunch this year, people wanting to get in the garden, everything, we just decided to go with we'll plant this year and then we'll hopefully we'll compost next year.
Yeah. Wow. So you've got a good sized garden here in Arcadia. It's like, how many plots are here?
So it's about,
or how big is it?
So there's 6 40 by 40 plots. There's 8 20 by 40 plots. So 6 really big plots, 8 medium plots, and 10 smaller plots. So we have, roughly around 40 plots. The total area of the garden is about 215 feet from that, and about 165 feet. So we do have about half acre worth of space, which is quite a bit for a community garden.
Yes, it is. And so some of it is under grant. No. Does each person or each group have to pay for their plot?
Yep. So I would say that, Ruth is an organization and we work with them with the grant. We had a little bit of money to work with. So yes, they paid for their plots, and the vast majority of renters pay for their plots. This is all, first come, first served basis. But we do offer scholarships and reimbursements or cost sharing measures. If you were looking to garden and didn't have the money, you could come to us and we have spaces that we can help you with. So we did co-sponsor a few people this year. So if you have financial issues, we are willing to help you. We want to see you in the ground gardening, and these are the people we want to help. So the vast majority of people who are gardening did pay, but we do have financial assistance for those available.
Mm-hmm. Because I've heard about timeshare gardening, but that would be kind of difficult, I think, in this garden because there's no structure to the fencing. How would you manage it? It's open, people come and go. And
we will be getting, so we don't timeshare. Well, one thing we're looking into is an at-will garden. For those, we have a specialized portion over there that would be only for at-will people. So people who don't know if they wanted to garden quite yet. And so we were looking into installing one of those plots. It's not in quite yet. we're looking at is like we're trying to expand very sustainably. We don't want to do too much too fast, and so one thing at a time, get one thing in, get the water in, get the plots in, and so we are looking into at-will gardening. The one thing is there will be a rabbit fence going up around here to really delineate the space and to keep people out. So it's open right now, but it was open because it needed to be tilled, and it doesn't, like just for like continuity's sake, you don't want the fence being up and having to remove all the fence when you're tilling and going planting. So once they get all planted, hopefully by mid-June, the deer fence or the rabbit fence will be up around the whole garden. And then we're looking to get some signage in to make it a little bit easier for you to find the garden and realize that it's a permanent spot in Arcadia. So we're looking to get some permanent signage, with the UW-Extension partner logo, the Arcadia School District logo, and then Compierre's logo, because Compierre has really helped us with expanding our garden.
Good. Great. Well, my goodness. To continue for another 20 years at least, huh?
Yep.
That would be super. I mean, to maintain what you have and maybe expand beyond.
Yep. So one of the things I said is we're looking to move more to a more sustainable. So before it was just a open plot of land that people planted on. And so really building a space that people can use year in, year out, that is, that provides a specialty place, and that we can eventually program here, teach here, and utilize the space more in the community, and not just an open space of land that almost seems like a second thought. So making it the first priority here. And that's what we're really doing with the expansion and bringing in the Ruth group. And so you can really see that this space is going to be more taken care of, and it's only going to build back better each and every year.
Yes, and the more people know about it too, I think they'll support it, and it'll be onward and upward.
Yep. So registration is usually from like March to an end of April. So you've usually got like about a month and a half, 2 months to get signed up. And so we usually do a big push for media on that. We do still have plots available if people still wanted to contact us and see. I think we have 1 or 2 small plots left if they're still looking to garden. But for the most part, we fill it up really fast.
Choice of plants. Do you make the choices?
Of plants? No. You can grow anything you want here. And then, like I said, we're moving more to a more sustainable, permanent layout. So if gardeners wanted to put in trellises or raised beds or really invest in their land, that's what we're allowing them to do with these changes. So choice of plants, you can grow anything here that is legal. So, I mean, I would say your choice is yours. We have people that grow corn, squash, beans, cucumbers, a lot of tomatillos, and stuff like that. So there's, wild mint in the rows, volunteer onions from the last year. So they grow quite a bit here, and it's a wide, diverse range. But there is no limit on what you can grow, and then how long you can grow it as well. Because like the summer is lasting longer and longer. And, so things last long and longer, especially, in the fall, going in for pumpkins and, things right before the frost. So, wide range of stuff you can grow here.
So bushes, raspberries, blueberries.
Yep. If you were looking to invest and plant some, 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year raspberry bushes, that would be available as well. There's nothing against what you can plant in here. So we're really encouraging people to really invest in this and see this as a piece of their land as well, and that they can invest in as well, because if they believe it's worth investment, they'll take care of it, and it really builds that sense of community.
It's wonderful. It's marvelous.
I had to mark it all out, so I did all the site surveying and planning, and so I was super happy to see all the flagging and line up and be perfect. And so it's like, man, you can do a lot of work with just 2 measuring tapes and a few people, the work you can get done. And so it's really been a wonderful experience to see how it's come together in just like the last few months.
It's great. Well, gee, more power to you, and I hope more people in the community will decide to buy up the plots, the last plots that are here, or support the plots that are.
Yep.
That's great. And spread the word. Thank you very much, Jake, for being here.
No problem.
Jacob Kluza from the UW-Extension for Trempealeau County and Jackson County. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you for being here too. So what the Roots group is planting this year is they're looking to feed the food pantry and then like the Bella Davida Church. So we've broken it into a few different things. On this side is the cool season crops. So we've got lettuce, kale, and some lettuce seeds going up. And then the next row over, we decided to go really with beans, bush beans, string beans, pole beans. We'll get some of the more hard landscapes done in after we're planting so they can grow into them. Eventually the tomatoes and stuff will go in the middle, and at the end are more like the winter squash, summer squash, the things that are really going to vine. And then we have room in the grass for those things to vine out as well. And so this will be able to provide food basically continuous throughout the summer of many different varieties. And so I've worked with them to pick out the plants, to get the planting plant done, and a few different things, and just really like look at the different varieties to make sure that harvest will be continuous. And so other portions of the garden, like I said, we do have these IBC tanks. And so the IBC tanks is just a fancy word for a giant plastic bulk tank. And these are what's going to provide our water for most of the garden. So I'm still working on getting all of the pipe fittings. I got to get an adapter to a hose. All of these will have hoses. They're about 275 gallons. And then we have 10 of them throughout the garden, really making sure that all of our renters have adequate supply of water relatively close to their garden space. Another thing we've implemented, we haven't put down the grass seed, but we really implemented these gardening strips just to provide a buffer strip between the gardens, so people aren't gardening on top of each other. And then just so we have some room for people to actually work and interact in the garden space without having to disrupt others. So a lot of quality of life improvements for the garden. And so we can see that we've done quite a bit of work for realigning the plots, and we put in a few newer plots facing up towards the top. So these are our newer plots. They were just put in. And so they do need to be tilled again, and we're going to come back and do that with what we can. But these are our newer plots, our expansions. And so these are more for the smaller gardens. These are as an example of one of our small plots. We have the big plots, and then on the other side we have the medium plots. And so again, ooh, that one looks like it's full of water already, actually. So adequate water, and then on this side, you can obviously see that the hoses will come out, but they'll have adequate water to the whole entire garden through these. So beforehand, before we got these water tanks, our garden was limited to just this water. And you can see for this big entire space, limiting 40 gardeners to one hose is prohibitive. So really expanding the garden and making sure it's working well for everybody. So this is the community garden.